Oh, shit it out. Lateral. Oh, shit.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Zephyr here. This is going to be the first episode of a new series I'm calling My Experiences. Basically, what I'm going to do is split the My Thoughts videos into two different videos. One where I go through my thoughts and some of the more factual information, and then one where I go through the purely subjective information that has everything to do with my personal experiences. This one is going to be on addiction. So, what are some of my experiences with addiction as a person, individually? Well, first, I am ashamed to say that I did succumb to the habit of smoking cigarettes whenever I was 17. I started at 17. I quit whenever I was 20, but I only quit for a very short amount of time before picking them back up. And whenever I did quit, I quit cold turkey. Well, you might think, well, but you picked them back up, so you didn't quit. Well, you're right, and I've recently quit again. In the past few months, I put cigarettes down again. I'm now 21, so that means that I have put them down twice. And both times I put them down cold turkey. You might not count the first one because I picked them back up, but the point here is that both times I decided to quit, I had decided that I was done. And in deciding that I was done, I put them down immediately in one day and stopped smoking them. Now, the relevance to that is that I do not feel that whenever you are trying to quit smoking, you can wean yourself off of it, because it leaves the door open for you to get right back to whatever level of addiction that you were at before you decided you wanted to quit. If you're going to quit, you're going to quit. It's that simple. If you want to, you will. If you don't, you won't. I feel very strongly about that because, like I said, I was not under any circumstances able to wean myself off, but whenever I threw away the pack of cigarettes that I most recently had bought and decided that I was not going to smoke anymore, I did not smoke anymore. So I believe 100% at this point in my life that quitting cigarettes in particular is a battle of willpower and not physical addiction. Next on my list is video games. I definitely was a video game addict most of my life. Some might argue that I'm still a video game addict today, but I would argue that today it is a personal choice that I play video games rather than an addiction. I use my video games now as a medium to help make a change in the world. Kind of. I use the gameplay because it's a lot easier to use this gameplay than it is to go buy a camera and talk in front of it and overcome my camera insecurities and all of these other things that I can just avoid if I play video games and put my voice over the video games. It's really easy that way. And hopefully the idea is that these videos will help change lives at some point. I used video games throughout my childhood as a medium to get away from reality, for the most part, I think. I played a lot of Zelda growing up. I was very into the Zelda franchise, and to me, it felt really good to be a hero saving a kingdom from the great evil that was in most cases Ganondorf, but in some cases not. My favorite one was definitely, not that this is relevant to any of you in any kind of way, but definitely the Wind Waker. Let's not have an argument in the comments about which Zelda is the best, because everybody knows that the Wind Waker was the best. But nowadays, I use video games as more of a social outlet, a way to converse with friends. Most of my friends are friends on PSN. They were not friends in real life, or they have at one point been friends in real life but can no longer see me face to face, so we are friends on PSN. So I spend a lot of my time socializing on PSN as opposed to face with people in real life, which is, for me, a problem, I think. But I'm also trying to develop more physical in-person relationships as well. And the last thing that I currently use video games for, whenever I'm bored, I use them as a pastime. Really, honestly. Usually, I try to make sure that even whenever I'm using them as a pastime, I'm obtaining some type of clips that I can use in my videos. But for the most part, there are times where I literally just get on because I want to fucking play some video games. So I sit down and relax and play some video games. And in the event that I start to develop more in-person relationships, friendships, a girlfriend, these things, I will probably spend a lot more time leisurely playing video games, and my content, as far as the actual gameplay goes, will probably dumb down some, but the significance of the things that I say will never dumb down unless I become some kind of idiot. But I hope against that. The idea is to stay fresh and stay positive and stay moving. Another addiction. This one is not my own addiction. This is an addiction of a close friend of mine / ex-love interest, I guess one might say. Whenever I was in high school, I was very involved with someone, and she happened to be an ex-heroin and methamphetamine addict, and she had gone through rehab and supposedly conquered her addiction, but she did indeed relapse while I was talking to her, which was very inconvenient and unfortunate, and it really fucking sucked. And I was there, not there, but she called me, and I was there at the aftermath and had to see a car accident in which her and one of her friends were doing some unfun things. Or I guess unfun. I guess it was actually really fun. I don't know how all that works. I've never been into heavy drugs like that, but I guess maybe it was actually fun. I'm sure the accident itself wasn't very fun, though. I can't imagine anyone who would enjoy getting into a car accident. But yeah, she called me and she was distraught, freaking the fuck out, and it was pretty rough. But from what I've heard, she's recently doing okay. Another incident that she had while I was talking to her whenever we were in high school, she actually owed somebody a lot of money for she was flipping some drugs, and she bought some and she owed them a lot of money, and then somebody actually stole not only her money that she intended to pay the people, because she had backed up the money so that she could pay them, so that she could flip over a period of time. But she had that stolen from her, but she also had the drugs stolen from her. So she was out twice as much money, and that was really inconvenient. But like I said, currently, from what I can see, as far as her Facebook profile goes, she's doing well for herself. And the last personal experience that I want to talk about today is actually my mother. She was addicted to alcohol pretty severely for quite a while. I guess her addiction started in 2014. I can't really remember exactly when it started, but it was somewhere around 2014, like that, something like that. She got sick with something, and then I think after she got sick with that particular whatever it was that she got sick with, doctors still don't know what it is that she actually got. But I think she let herself go, and she let alcohol kind of fill some voids that had developed after her sickness. And she let it get out of control. She let it get out of hand, and it took over her life. It ended up messing up her some of her vital organs, and she ended up hospitalized. Thankfully, she made it out okay. Everything was fine, and she was clean for a little while, got back on it. It messed with her for a little while, and finally, recently, I think within the past 6 or 7 months, maybe 8, she is actually clean, supposedly for good. So the good news is she is not drinking anymore. So kudos to her for overcoming her addiction. Kudos to my old friend for overcoming her addiction. And kudos to me for quitting smoking, I guess. Even though, like I said, I don't really consider smoking a very hard addiction to overcome, having overcome it twice now with relative ease. Another thing, fast food, or just shitty food in general, man. We eat a lot of really shitty food here in America. I don't know if you guys do in the other parts of the world, but definitely here in America, we eat a lot of really shitty food. And I think that it has to do with a lot of things. One factor is fat acceptance, or the growing okayness with being obese, overweight, and unhealthy. And I don't personally have anything against fat people. I really don't. But I do think that as we become more okay with being obese and being unhealthy, we have to acknowledge the fact that people are going to be dying due to health-related stuff related to food. I mean, we can't... The processed foods that we eat, all the junk that we eat, the lack of proper health classes, we don't really teach nutrition the way that we should. So we're going to have to deal with that one way or another, whether it be through acceptance of the fact that people are going to be dying, or through actually cracking down on health. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. Hopefully you enjoyed. Maybe it'll help you. If you think somebody you know might benefit, then feel free to show them. I'll see you guys in the next one.